The bandit scouts retreated into the forests, warning their leader of the incoming knights. Quickly deploying barricades and a number of traps throughout the woods, the bandits waited to ambush their would-be capturers.
What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Craft Lair. I am the Crafter. This is the lair. Today we got a cool build going on. I am working on some ways to kind of disrupt the environment during my encounters, ways that I can kind of guide the players around these encounters in ways that work out for the story I'm trying to create. And how I envision doing that is through area denial or blocking pathways for my players. And some of those things could be as simple as barricades, which I'll be painting. I printed these off by cast and play and then affix them to some custom basing, as well as some other traps that you can kind of scatter around your encounter, and that will help kind of guide the narrative and maybe block off certain routes of escape or things like that. And you can also add in some kind of interesting trap mechanics to some of these things as well. So I'm going to be including these STL files in the description. Be sure to check that out and go download them, print them out at home. Be sure to like, subscribe. I'm going to be giving away a lot more STLs as the days go on. I've got some super cool projects coming up I'm really excited to share. Thanks for joining me on the Craft Lair. Stick around. It's going to be a fun build.
So, taking a look at the 3D model here, nothing too complicated about this. I built a couple versions of each of these traps. For the first being these bear traps, I have the open version, which can seat a 28mm miniature base, so you can just drop that on there and use that almost as like a marker. And then I have this kind of closed-looking one. For the other trap, I'm building up a rope net. I have a flat rope net, and I have a sort of curved one. So these are the two traps I've created, and then I'm also going to be printing out some of these barricades from Cast and Play, who make some really, really great downloadable STL files, and they have a cool monthly Patreon, which is how I got these. So I'm starting off with these barricades, and I just want to have a little base to put these on. I don't want to have to deploy all of these barricades. I think I printed out about 15 of them, so it'd be kind of annoying to have to do that. So I'm going to group these by threes and place them onto some foam core bases, and then, you know, I can decorate those with some static grass and things like that. I didn't want the ground to be completely perfectly flat on some of these, so I'm cutting some very, very small pieces of XPS foam and just using that to kind of create like a staggered, hilly-ish landscape for these barricades to sit on. From there I go in and cover all that with some drywall compound just to mesh it all together and hide the seams between the XPS and the foam core poster board, and then just go in and glue in some coarse aggregate sand. And I did my best to do that where the barricades wouldn't be. I just didn't want any of these large pebbles kind of blocking where the barricades would be getting glued to. From there you can just paint up those bases, and I'm using my airbrush here in some dark brown acrylic ink and just painting in all that dirt and stuff like that. I really like airbrushing with these washes now. It's quite quick and easy to paint some of this stuff, so you can pretty much just prime anything white and then spray on these kind of brown washes and just kind of build up those dark values darker and darker, and it's a very quick and good way to work, like especially when using these inks on any kind of foam crafted environment. I really think it looks better than painting it outright. You're able to just get some really natural looking blended raw earth colors, which I absolutely love. Going through and doing some of the details on these barricades, and they're looking pretty light right now, but I'm going to apply a darker coat of ink to just bring all that down, and then I'll go through and dry brush a little bit at the very end on those. So I printed out a huge number of items from this bandit pack, and I'm going to be using that in this build, you know, for these barricades, as well as my next one coming up where I build an enormous bandit encampment, and it's going to be really, really awesome. So definitely stick around to see that next video where I paint up some more of these cast and play printed elements, and I'll be giving away some stuff for that video as well. So I'm going through with Vallejo pigments, and I really love this stuff, these weathering pigments. It really adds so much depth and I don't know, real style to all of these pieces. So I highly recommend using those. Now, to get started on the models that I created myself, I mean, really simple stuff. Just primed those with some white primer. Here you can see how miniatures kind of scale and compare to it. And then I went through on the bear traps and painted those all with Runefang steel, I believe it was. And then I actually, instead of painting it beyond that, I actually just used a bunch of pigments, and I had some like orange pigments, brown pigments, and just kind of scattered those on, and they really gave kind of like a rusty effect to this. And for the nets, I just painted those in like a bleached bone color and some Agrax Earthshade ink to bring out kind of all the details in there. And that's pretty much it for those traps. They were super easy to make. You just kind of print them and pop them on your table. But I'm excited to get these in front of my players. I think it's gonna be cool. I'm gonna be able to kind of like dictate where they go and how they overcome some of these obstacles as they're playing. So I'm excited to play with these. That about wraps this video up. I'm excited to have these all done. I've had these barricades printed out for months now, just waiting to be built. So I'm glad I finally did something with those. And these are going to go great with my next video, my giant bandit encampment, so definitely subscribe and stick around for that. There's going to be some cool pieces that go along with that, and I am excited to share those with all of you. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel, share with your 3D printing friends. I'm trying to grow this thing even more. Seeing those numbers tick up really keeps me motivated to keep on making stuff. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I am the Crafter, this is The Lair, and I'll see you in the next one.